Hello again. Alright, so this is, I totally forgot to talk specifically about this as the deficiency that I choose to discuss. I spent a good amount of time on the first video, or on the first part rather, talking about this because I did notice it and I thought it was really odd that it happened. And I thought it was a really big, moderately big issue, I should say. So, state of the game is, oh, I forgot to reopen, not this, sorry. The state of the game was that Volibear started bot lane. Started red side, and we know that because Hunter leashed him. Broken Blade pulled the wave, so now the wave is gonna slow push back towards him. Set started leashless, which was a great decision. It helped his bottom lane as well as top. Bottom lane didn't need to be in lane, and top, he got the lane counter pick, and he was gonna be able to abuse this lane matchup really hard. And because of it, it'll force Volibear to pat back towards top. Now, the first time they watched it, the main complaint was that Spica comes too early in the top lane. He does uh, red, think into blue into Grump, or just Raptors into blue into Grump. Into blue into top, sorry. He only does 3 camps into top. I don't remember which 3. I think it was blue and Grump. And then top. And he'll be there by like 2:30, I guess. I think it was the timer. He should know. We already know that Volibear started top. So what are Volibear's options? He could do red into Raptors, into back top on Golems, into look for a gank top because this would be a reactive padding. When he starts red buff, he has a choice. If you like to full clear, he could do Golems, Raptors, whatever his whole bot side. But almost no jungler will full clear when you're playing as Volibear. He could full clear, but he doesn't want to this game because he needs to accelerate the game, right? And he starts red and then does Raptors. Now he does the pad that he could have done to be top lane because Hunter was already having a really hard time. And we could assume, if you're a Golden Guardians, you could assume that Spica started bot side because there's no reason for Spica to start blue into padding towards bot because there's nothing to be done here. It's really hard for these 3 to get a gank on these 3. They're on these 2. They're too slippery, right? So it makes no sense for Spica to start there. So it's more literally safe to assume that Spica started on red buff, and he'll pad towards top. Broken Blade set up a freeze. A slow push. So Spica will definitely be in the top vicinity. Now Volibear had 2 choices. He could either continue with this into bot side, into maybe reset and then run here, right? Maybe even with the Raptor, but he could like that would have been fine, right? From him, he could do this, scuttle when it spawns, reset, run back top to assist his top laner that will probably be struggling at that point. But Broken Blade wins just like 1v1. He puts so much pressure on a Hunter that Closer will sprint from here to here. Now, the first thing that's happened that's bad is that Spica does 2 camps into Grump. Sorry. Into coming directly top. This wave is still pushing towards Hunter. The deficiency that I'm choosing, it's kind of a mix. I think it's mostly like communication issue that happened between the 2 of them, or either that or they both looked at this wave and they didn't realize what could have happened like 2 waves from now. Because on not this wave, but the wave that's arriving, this was still slow pushed here, and then on the 3rd wave that will come, or sorry, I think it's on the 2nd wave that will come, you will be able to lock the wave over here. You know that Volibear padded towards bot, because if he was not padded towards top, you would have spotted him on this ward right now. If he did red, Raptors, Golems into top, This could be a path because Hunter could be like, yo, this guy's playing really aggressive. I might need you here really early. As in before the enemy jungler makes it here, which is set. So he could have done that path, but he hasn't because you do not see him on this ward that Broken Blade placed. Now the ward is about to expire, but if Volibear was here, he would have shown up. This is mostly like game knowledge, both on Spica and Broken Blade, and them communicating with each other. It's like Broken Blade is trading really aggro. Spica is probably patting his camera on top lane so he sees what's happening. And he should know, due to how Volibear wave cleared. There's this video that I showed how fast he could clear. I don't have it open anymore. I showed it in part 1. He has a 312 clear speed in patch 10.16, which is the patch that the game is being played on. So Volibear, if he did only 3 camps, he could be already up here. He would be already up here unless he's sitting idle outside of vision or something like that. But he's not. So they know that Volibear padded towards bot side by the time Spica finishes his Gromp. This is a good trade from Broken Blade. Really good trade. Wave is still pushing back. Hardcore towards him. After this trade, he does not need to take any more trades with Hunter. All he has to do, wait for this to slow push back. He has 2 potions, plus he will have another biscuit in 1.5 minutes. What am I doing here? 1.5. He's perfectly fine. Hunter cannot step up to this wave. He has to give up CS. He could still eat the XP, but he will need to recall and get really suboptimal things, like probably like a cloth armor or whatever. He puts a ward here. Now at this point, after that trade, Spica and Broken Blade should be communicating. Broken Blade should be like, hey, this top wave is pushing towards me. Where is Volibear? Spica will probably tell him he should be bot side. He has not shown top lane. He should be already top lane if he was planning to do red into his bot, into his full red side jungle, into top side. He should be already up here. Emphasis on he should already be here if that was his plan. But he's not. So they should both know Volibear is not here. Lane is going perfectly fine. Mordekaiser is going to be locked in this area. He cannot walk up. Spica being in the tri-bush will provide nothing. Sure, he clears a word, but in that time he could have done both his camps. Could have done both his camps instead of wasting the time over here. Broken Blade is doing very good. You just need to last it everything. Wait, not for this wave, but for the next wave when it's gonna crash. And you lock it here. And that will be when Spica finishes these two into Scuttle, into maybe recalling the top bush. So he came, he wasted time, and now he's going back to blue. He probably would have been right now on blue buff if he did like wolves and then blue, and then he decides he's gonna play towards top side because Azir could have prio. Jax has a freezing wave towards him, so Jax will have prio because Mordekaiser needs to recall it anytime soon. And you see closer went from Gromp all the way to top lane. He's coming up because he knows he's gonna need to be up here to unlock this. Look at it, still coming. It's gonna slowly come this way. I might have screwed up the number of waves that it takes for this to crash, or maybe I just do not see it off the screen whenever these two trade. But if it's not on this wave, it's definitely on the next one unless they trade. I think it's actually just on this wave that's arriving. But anyways, this trade that Broken Blade just takes over here screws up the whole plan that I was talking about. It's wave is slow pushing towards you, your jungler's doing scuttle. You do not need to take this trade. All you have to do is just wait for him to come back up. Spica should know Volibear is up here. At this point, they should know. Sorry, there's two options. There's two options. Sorry, I just dropped something. It's either Volibear it's top here, or he's on bot scuttle. So Broken Blade is safe. Probably that's actually what they communicated. They're like, you know what, Volibear is on bot scuttle. You could do whatever top. But this trade is bad. Even if Volibear, let's assume for a second that Volibear is bot scuttle. Why would it? Why would you take this trade? You have your jungler right next to you. You could let this slowly crash. He will not be able to CS anything up until now because of the early trade that you took a level 1. You are going to be able to... You're already at 10 CS up. He had more minions on his side than you. Now it's more or less even. And it's going the other way. The flash is good. He doesn't want to get the stun locked by Closer because he doesn't have his E up. Closer and Hunter screw up the wave because they start to hit it instead of just whatever. At this point, pick up after this was Broken Blade's decision. There's like the two things that I wanted to talk about. It was Spica coming too early, top lane, when he has knowledge of where Volibear should be. Broken Blade doing a really good job at 1v1ing versus Hunter with their champions and setting up a slow pushback. Him maybe not communicating it properly with Spica, or Spica not communicating properly with him, that Closer should be in the bot side of the map at that point. Which means that you could just let this slow push through. Closer will have to come top lane. It's not an option. He has to come top lane to assist Hunter to unlock a potential freeze that could happen over here. Hunter had no more potions. Broken Blade is still like on 2 potions at this point. And Spica was going to be top side. He could do this, and then possibly sit here and wait for Spica, for Closer to show up. Unless Closer decided to do the bottom crab. So that's kind of the deficiency. It's a combination of things. It's more of a jungle knowledge into lane knowledge. Broken Blade clearly Broken Blade clearly played the lane a lot better than Hunter. Could have punished Hunter a lot harder for how well he played early. Spica could have been told to not come top that early, or he could have fed the information to Broken Blade to like, hey look, Volibear is not going to be top, could I just clear my jungle instead? And Broken Blade probably would have said yes. Wave is shoving back. We know Volibear should be bot side at that point in the game, so there's no reason for Spica to waste time walking up to clear a ward, then walking back down. Like, that doesn't do absolutely anything. Instead, he could have cleared everything, had this done as well. So now when he takes the scuttle, he's going to be level 4 when this thing happens. And now we'll assume that Broken Blade did not take that just terrible bad, or like terrible bad, that bad trade earlier that just unlocked the wave and made it to go back this, the wave was going this way, then he took that trade just before Volibear showed, and now it's going this way. Because he had too many minions with his E. Like, you could just lasted this, and you're perfectly fine. You have, what is this, 3, 6, 7 versus 6 minions. Next wave is coming, this is still slow pushing towards you. You could plan to lock this here, you have the counter pick into your matchup. Instead, what will end up happening because of him unfreezing this? Spear could have been level 4 and already on his way up here. Probably he would have met Volibear in this area. I do not know on the timing of that, maybe. Because he would have done already this and this instead of walking up and down. So he would have wasted a lot less time. Be level 4 compared to Volibear level 3. Wave is still coming like this. If Spica just decides to come here and sit and take his recall as level 4, maybe wait like 5-10 seconds and then take your recall, and then path towards bot side, then top lane is just what? He only has to wait a few seconds so Jax could have his ward back up so he could ward. Jax puts a ward here. Oh, I don't know why I put a T. Oh, I put for trinket. So Jax puts a ward there. After Spica recalls, or as Spica recalls, this guy shows up. You're like, oh, well, I'm just gonna sit here. The wave is coming towards me. I could freeze it. Volibear needs to come in this lane to unlock the wave with Hunter. So that means they will share XP and gold, which is perfect for Broken Blade. He's winning. And because Volibear will show up here, they see how much CS he has. They're like, wait a minute, this man hasn't done the butt scuttle. So then Spica could just sprint to the butt scuttle and get it. He'll be level 4 and whatever, how much XP. Probably like, I'd say like well, not 2-4, sorry. Maybe like almost 2/3 of a level on volley. Because he would have had taken everything. You could take this, reach it back, take this, back towards top. While they would have shared the gold. Hunter would be under level, slightly under leveled, so would be closer. So it's a lot of like small decisions that were taken in the early game, either due to lack of communication or miscommunication, I guess. Plus this trade that maybe they weren't even thinking about doing what I was talking about, as in like set up a slow freeze or like an eventual freeze over here. Because you don't need, like as I said in the part 1, Spica doesn't need to do anything this game, he just needs to counter the Volibear. Make sure he cannot do anything, he has winning lane, evenish lane, evenish lane, but they outscale really hard, so he just has to play towards Jax. If Jax gets the freeze here, Haunter drops at least minus 20 CS, at the very least. Or closer comes real quick here, maybe Haunter's only up 10 CS. And instead of that, whatever happens is that they are pretty much even in CS. While Hunter had a really, really bad early levels. I don't even know what he could have done. It probably just the way he played the lane. Maybe like dodge more trades. I don't know. That's not. So, anyways, this is the deficiency that I wanted to talk about. I don't know how to call it. Miscommunication, bad decision. I know it's said to not be like judgment. I don't think it's judgment because, well, I guess it's sort of a judgment because you do not know where Volibear is. So Spica shows up way too early in the tri-bush. Lane mechanic for Broken Blade to unlock the wave over here instead of just letting it come back and knowing that Volibear should be top. Is that judgment or is that more of like communication maybe? I don't know. I do not know who would track the enemy jungler on that team. It would probably be Spica. But it anyhow, this even like at this point, it's just so. No. I guess the deficiency was I guess early game. Talking obviously about uh, judgment and sorry, I'm just trying to look back at the email about judgment and I mean it's not really mechanical. It's a decision making sort of, but it's really easy to be fixed in the way that I would look at it. It's like basic information that Spica knows or should know about how Volibear will path, how much time it will take him to get to X place, and then Broken Blade knows how the wave should go, but he unfreezes the wave. He knows, well, like Spica should communicate to Broken Blade when the jungler will be top, so he does not take that weird trade which unlocks the wave for Mordekaiser and then in return also blows his own flash. So it's a lot of mixture in it. I hope it's clear enough, and that's the deficiency that I wanted to talk about.